So I'm going to look at some basic characteristics of Asperger's syndrome, and I'm going to tell you how they relate to me personally and how they relate to me as an artist. Social awkwardness. Now, this was something that was much more of a problem with me when I was younger. Because I make my living as a teacher, it's something that I had to learn how to overcome. I'm much better at one-on-one or a small group of people, and once that interaction is over, it's over. Difficulty understanding jokes or sarcasm. I spent the 1990s making alternative comics, so I have always had a sense of humor, although it's a very strange sense of humor, and my comics reflect some of that strangeness. I tend to have a particular love of strange uses of words, turns of phrases, sensory issues. This is something that affects me especially. I am very sensitive to bright lights, so I always have to wear sunglasses when I go outside. Sensitivity to touch. This was something that was much more common for me when I was a child. I did not like being touched. I did not even like being touched by my mother. And when people touched me, I felt like I had been violated in some way. I also do not like tight-fitting clothes, or I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear anything that may create a sensory contact point that will become a distraction in my mind over the course of a day. I'm extremely sensitive to loud noises, and especially sudden loud noises. There are few things in life that will make me angry, even in public situations, and one of them are sudden, loud, sharp sounds. If I can see a fire truck coming down the street, I do this. But that's a little bit different because I can see it coming and I can prepare for it. Poor balance. Yes, this is an issue for me, and it isn't helped by the drugs that I take. I tend to fumble around a bit. Clumsiness. This is a very bad one for me. If I'm holding something and I set it on a ledge, it will fall off because I will either miss the ledge by 2 inches or I will set it right on the edge and it'll fall off. I think I'm picking up something and I have not picked it up. It is actually falling to the floor when I think it is in my hands. Extremely picky with food. I find eating on a daily basis to be rather annoying. I do not like thinking about food. I do not like picking things to eat, so I tend to eat the same thing every day for many days in a row, and sometimes many weeks or months in a row. I just don't want to be distracted by it. It's just too much trouble to think about it. Avoiding eye contact. Yes, this is something that affects me to some degree, even now as a teacher, but it was much more of a problem when I was a child. Lack of adherence to social rules. I don't feel a very strong need to conform to social norms. In many cases with autistic people, they will express regrettable opinions, or they will be attracted to things that are taboo subjects. With the autistic person, you really don't have as many social filters. Empathy, that is being able to identify with other people's situations, is not going to be high on your list of priorities, if at all. So the violation of social norms and social rules can be problematic at one level, but at another level, it can be the very thing for an artistic person that they would be able to liberate themselves from thinking in conventional ways. Very strong or particular interest. Yes, this is something that very much defines me, and I think it defines anyone who is artistic and autistic at the same time. And these interests go across a whole range of topics. You tend to develop this large catalog of things that sort of connect to the thing you're interested in. And so when you look at successful artists and scientists and mathematicians and all the rest of it, you start seeing this driven aspect to it. It's the thing that they think about when they first get up in the morning, and it's the last thing they think about before they fall asleep at night, if they can fall asleep. Animals, I don't have a pet because I regard that as being another distraction, but of the animals that we had as family pets, I was very devoted to them. And if I had a pet, I would pamper the pet to the point of actually spoiling the pet. My second novel deals with this topic and how sometimes autistic people are able to express empathy primarily through animals, but that becomes kind of a surrogate for understanding empathy in other things as well. Collecting things. I got collecting things from my father. My father was clearly on the autistic spectrum. The things that I collect include old toothbrushes. Especially, I like bright, shiny objects. I like translucent surfaces. And if it has a bright color, I have a whole collection of those. I collect toys. I love small toys. I paint small toys. Difficulty with change. Yes, this is a really bad one for me. When I think about the COVID lockdown, that was no imposition on me. Every day of my life looks exactly like the day before. I wear the same clothes every day. Again, that's distraction, so I don't want to be bothered with picking out my wardrobe. I do the same things at the same time every day. Strong ability to focus. Autistic artists have an extraordinary laser beam-like ability to focus on the task at hand. Strong attention to details. Yes, another strong element in many autistic people.